your fault. You know it. I was in charge of that.
I don't care whose fault it was. Boys! I want you to be the best. You want your mother to be proud of.
Listen up, you ignorant faggots. We're going back to the movies with your man, the GrimCreeper. Tonight's feature from Beyond the Pit is Mother's Day, 1980, a Lloyd Kaufman production. You might know him as the creator of The Toxic Avenger and many other low-budget horror films, starring Beatrice, Pons, Michael McCleery, and Frederick Coffin. Let's check it out. Now, one of the things that I like about a good Lloyd Kaufman movie is that he establishes who the main characters of the movie are right away in some of the most brutal fashion. And you know, with this movie, you get the worst kind of person in a scary movie. The evil witch, the old fogey hag woman, the evil hag woman, like in The Evil Dead, there was the evil hag woman, someone's in my fruit cellar kind of hag. And it's the scariest kind of creature in a movie. You're introduced to this woman and her two deranged hillbilly sons, and they basically kill two people in the beginning of this movie in glorious fashion. They chop the boyfriend's head off with a machete, and then the guy basically grabs a woman, throws her up on the car, and the pants come down. That's how you know you're watching a Lloyd Kaufman film. You immediately go to a shot of dirty briefs. Dirty briefs, that's all you need right there. And then this creepy old someone's in my fruit cellar kind of a woman strangles a young lady to death. And that's the beginning of the movie. That is your first 7 minutes of this movie. And you know, it's just, you don't see stuff like that anymore. You really don't. Not in today's film. There's always got to be a who, a what, a where, and a why. All we need is the backwoods, and all we need is there's someone in my fruit cellar lady with two deranged sons. And you need a budget of less than $1 million. And then you've got a movie. And I think that's, you know, this movie comes out of those days where, you know, I think the VHS tape was made in 1977 or 78, and from then on, you would have a lot of movies that would be green-lighted by small-time production companies, and they would go directly to video, and that's basically been the staple and trademark of all Tromaville entertainment. But this movie's about a gaggle of girls that go for a nice weekend out on the town. And it seems like whenever you have nice young people going out into the backwoods or out somewhere, they always run into that obligatory store owner who says, "Oh, you can't go up to the Barrens. It's not safe up there." And they always get warned. At a gas station, the Hills Had Eyes had the same old dude at a gas station. Friday the 13th Part 3 had the same old dude at a gas station. You can't go up there. You lesbians will get what you deserve. There's always some old man going, "You lesbians will get what you deserve."
How much? Oh, by the way, how far is it to Deep Barrens?
You alone?
No, with friends. 2 of them. How far is it to Deep Barrens?
Why do you want to go up there, lady? Don't go messing up in Deep Barrens. You get what you deserve in them Deep Barrens, you lesbians. You get what you deserve in them Deep Barrens, you lesbians.
And that's what makes a lot of these old horror movies just so great, is the general store owner or gas station attendant saying, you don't want to go up there, stay on the main road. But do they ever take this guy's advice? Well, bleep no, otherwise they'd have no movie. And then shortly after that, the three girls go up into the woods. They go to this place called Deep Barrens. Now, one of the things that I like about this film is that right after the first 8 minutes of this film, you're introduced to Abby, Trina, and Jackie. And you spend a little bit of time with these girls, and that is so that you actually care about them. You care about what happens to them. You find out that they're old college roommates. They go into the general store, they mess up the joint, and then the guy's like, you get what you deserve, you lesbians. And then they frame up a sign that says, Deep Barrens, proceed at your own risk. And it says that 3 times in a row. They show it 3 different ways framed up. Proceed at your own risk. Now, what I want to point out is that these women are going into the forest with nothing but sleeping bags, a couple of backpacks, and one of them has a suitcase. They are grossly underprepared to be going into the woods. I mean, but this gives you an idea of like female psychology. They will walk away from a party if they feel insulted in the middle of the winter, no shoes, and they'll just start walking like idiots into the woods and maybe even freeze to death, like just on a whim. Oh, is this where the party is? As a matter of fact, you could put up a sign that says billionaires this way, and women would just like go out there, even though there's nothing but grizzly bears out there. They would go out there in bikini tops and short shorts looking for the billionaires and be eaten up by grizzlies just as long as they had a glimpse at seeing like Elon Musk or something like that. But it's just, I want to point out that one of them just walks out into the forest with nothing but a sleeping bag and a suitcase, and I'm like, oh my God, what are these girls doing? But I guess people were tougher in the 80s. I don't know. And finally they make it to the lake, and they're just going to have a quiet evening at the lake. But, I didn't see a cooler. So, what are they eating? Sugar for the next 2 days? That ought to be good. But it kind of goes to their history about how they were in college and everything. And so, you kind of fast forward, and all 3 of these girls are like from the big city, and you have this kind of like country bumpkin meets city girl, except for it's in a horror movie moment where they're all stuffed into their own sleeping bags. Nothing they can do about it because men are stronger than women. And if you don't believe me, just take a look at that scene. There was literally nothing they could do. They got shoved into their own sleeping bags and they were dragged off. And it just tells me that in order to take over like a swath of New York City, all you need is 5 well-adjusted guys with guns, and you'd probably get about halfway there until you ran out of bullets against NYPD because they're not allowed to shoot at you, apparently. But it's just, what more do you need than that? Women stuffed into bags by hillbillies. It's hilarious. And there was nothing they could do, and they're dragged away. It's like that scene in The Hobbit where they're all stuffed into sacks. And they got really scared, and they couldn't fight the trolls. So our female heroines are dragged back to the cabin where the old lady's waiting for her sons to come home, and they live in this like spooky backwoods hellhole of a cabin, and they're dragged in their sleeping bags there, and then they decide which girl they're going to torture first, and of course they torture poor Jackie. And I didn't want Jackie to die because she had the crackhead boyfriend. The crackhead boyfriend's like sitting there snorting a line. He's like, I wish I could work a full-time job like you. And the last thing she said to the guy before she left was, I love you. And he's like, I'll see you when you get back. And it didn't feel right, and I guess they wanted you to like her just a little bit more because she's the first of the girls that you kind of meet. And she's also the first one to walk into the general store And so, they pick her out of the litter of girls, they beat her and rape her, and then, of course, they inevitably kill her. Which leads us back to the two girls, and they basically untie them, leave them to their own devices while they go through this crazy hillbilly serial killer workout routine.
Okay, boys, now let's get to work.
And I have to give Lloyd Kaufman props on that. That is probably the coolest thing. The mom's has a checklist of exercises that the boys are going through. They're doing push-ups, they're working the punching bag, they're working the machete into the bag of flour, and they're just going to town during this hillbilly workout. So that's got to be the most creative, the absolute most creative thing I've seen in a long time, and that's what you get with Kaufman. You just get down-to-earth, funny serial killers sometimes, and that's what you get in Mother's Day. And you spend a lot of time with Ike, Mother, and Adley so that you humanize with these psychopaths, and you actually begin to like them, and you can actually be fans of these people and cheer for them, even though you wouldn't normally. And it's only in horror movies that you'll see stuff like this. Now, of course, the two girls, Trina and... what's her name? Trina and Abby escape, and they start to circle back and get their friend, and they get her out, and then their friend dies in the woods, and then they go for vengeance. They drag her dead body back to the house. They put her in a spot just in front of the house, and they said, she needs to see this. And they go into the house, and the first thing they do is they jump poor Adley, and they hit him right in the crotch with an axe. And that's got to be number 3 on the best ways that you can kill a psychopath, is you get him right in the crotch with an axe, and you even see a ball drop. And then they go back, and then Ike comes down. He starts beating the crap out of both the girls, and Trina throws the TV on top of his head, and he starts electrocuting inside of the TV. And then finally, Abby has to kill him with a meat slicer, a motorized meat slicer. But the best kill in this movie has to belong to... it has to belong to Abby, because she uses a giant pair of party tits to suffocate Mother. A giant pair of novelty party tits. And you just don't see something like that. They suffocate her, and then as a little bit of time passes, they clean themselves off, and then as they're leaving, there was this subplot about how the mom can never be left alone because her twin sister's out there. And right at the very end, Queenie jumps out of the woods at both Abby and Trina, and their deaths are implied, which brings the body count of this movie up to 8. Now, this is one of those classic Lloyd Kaufman trauma videos that you can just watch over and over again. This does not get old. Very similar to what's another good horror movie that you can compare this to? It's got just enough comedy to not be psychopathic. We can go with Friday the 13th Part 6. You can just kind of watch it again and again, and it's not that bad. Whereas, there are some movies I can't finish. I can't rewatch Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, again and again, and want to empathize and think that Ike and... I don't think Henry is cool. Nothing Henry did was cool. Nothing Henry and his buddy did in that movie was cool. The home invasion scene, just no, not going there. But Ike and Adley, they're just kind of a bunch of, friendly neighborhood psychopaths. And, you know, and just for that, I gotta give this movie a 4 out of 5. Because you do kind of get to know your characters, and then you're kind of sad in the way they go. You're not too sad when Ike and Hadley get it. I mean, they were gonna get it eventually, but, you know, it's just, killing the mom with a pair of giant novelty party tits. Gotta be one of the best horror movie kills. Anyway, I haven't been making content on the channel for a while because, again, I came into OBS late this year, and because of all the work I've been doing, you know, 55, 60 hours a week, I just haven't had time, and I've been burned out on horror. So finally taking a week off of work, and I've done nothing but watch horror movies, and Mother's Day just had to be one that I got onto the channel, so hopefully I'll be able to do this new setup a little bit more, where I'm able to review some horror movies and get them out to you. Gonna have some brand new seasons coming out, and I'm also going to be deleting a lot of the older content because I don't think that anything that I did in the early days, with the exception of a few videos, really holds up. So until I see you again, don't forget to check out Mother's Day. Keep watching horror movies and stay metal, my friends.
When on. I figured sold out. It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.